Presented by Under Armour and Sleeper Fantasy. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou recording this Sunday night. The rare back-to-back double win for the Warriors here. It wasn't pretty, but given the state of the season, you know what? Win's a win, and this team just needs to start getting some wins. And so I can't be overly mad, even with the giving up a 20-point lead against Portland and some curious decision-making down the stretch. And, you know, there's a lot to talk about, but end of the day, they just need to start getting wins. And, you know, that happened.
2-0. I feel like the Warriors haven't played a back-to-back in a while. I could be wrong, but they won both. I don't know, when was the last time that happened? Maybe 6 years ago. I mean, every Warriors game is kind of the same now. It's the Warriors. They jump out to a lead, they blow the lead, then it's a close game at the end, then some weird stupid shit happens, and it's either an excruciating loss or Sam tonight or last night and tonight. The Warriors actually came up clutch. Although tonight, I don't know if the Warriors came up clutch. Maybe the Warriors just kind of just got away with one tonight, but they came up clutch last night, right? Steph came up clutch last night. So 12 and 14. I don't know, like you're saying. Win's a win, right? My vibe of this game, though, is that this does feel like more the Warriors that I've used to see in terms of the process.
Yeah, so let's talk on the macro here, because I feel like the interesting thing that's happening was the lineup change that started 3 games ago.
Yep.
This is the third game that they have started Pods and Kuminga in place of Draymond, who's obviously suspended, and Wiggins coming off the bench tonight. Wiggins, by the way, tempted to say this is his best game of the season, but I thought he played excellent coming off the bench. And to your point, I actually think Pods is the one who makes them feel like the Warriors. Chris Paul has been a subpar fit, right? Like all the negatives that you would have thought over the summer have kind of come true with him. Even though I think he's been a good teammate and tried to do the right thing, it's just stylistically, it's like water and oil. Like, it doesn't fit, right? Like, he wants to slow it down. They want to run, that sort of thing, right? Pods comes in. Pods, committed defender and a scrappy good defender who actually causes a lot of havoc between getting charges, deflections, steals, all that sort of stuff. We only had 1 steal tonight, but I feel like he gets his hands on like 4 or 5 balls every game, right? And then he's just such a smart passer, always looking to get the ball ahead. I don't think it's a surprise Klay has finally got going when they started putting dudes around him who just move the ball and they run a little bit. And that's where it gets to your point where it's like, you know what? Probably they're not as talented as the peak Warrior teams, but they at least are playing the style that we know suits their players.
Yep. Boom. Right there. To me, that's all that matters. I don't think we both agree this team right now, even if Draymond comes back, whenever he comes back, is not a championship team, but I at least would like to see them play to who they are, which is why the Chris Paul trade was always so weird, is that's what makes Klay. So this is a perfect segue, right? To Pods unlocking what Klay is, and even Wiggins is, dude. Klay's not let's just stand in the corner and shoot threes while someone creates
pound it in the half court type of guy.
Yeah. Never been, right? Like what makes him so crazy is that he's just gonna bomb threes in transition and make like 4 in a row, and that's what makes him so good. When this team gets stops, and
I'd argue. The older he gets and post-injury, like they need to run more because it's harder for him to get the separation that he used to get in the old days. And that's where like the Chris Paul half-court offense, like it's not a surprise he struggled fitting in that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean that's it actually makes a lot of sense. It's kind of counterintuitive because he's older, but like on a night like tonight, he didn't play 30 minutes. He played 29 minutes, which is kind of perfect because that's kind of what he should be playing if you want to maximize what he can be offensively. And I mean, even defensively, like he can still do some good things. So, Steve's going to say connector. I'm sure he's going to say connector at some point in tonight's presser about Podziemski, but it is true. He does connect them on offense, but he also does connect them on defense.
Yeah.
Not just the game-winning charge take that he had, which was I don't know, Sam. I saw that coming from a mile away, didn't you? Like it was pretty obvious when who was the guy dribbling? Kamara?
It was Shaden Sharp, but just, like I still get surprised when he gets the call just because he's a rookie. You know,
yeah.
I guess it's a rookie on second year type. Like it's not like it's LeBron barreling down the lane or something.
LeBron, what do you think he would have called?
Zero chance he gets a charge. But if he would have stood in there for LeBron full speed, he earns a charge. That's a different conversation.
That is pain right there. That is pain. I mean, like that type of stuff is so big for this team. Rebounding. I say it every show. Rebounding. I mean, he had 5 tonight, which is low for him. I'm like, what are we doing here? He's usually got 10 to 15 rebounds a game. But he connects his team offensively, defensively. That's the point I'm trying to make, which I think this team really needed because he does it so much better than someone like Kuminga and even Moody. I think guys that are 3 years on this team and still aren't as impactful as him.
Because he's actually a playmaker. Like he sees the game. Like Moody, he gets the short end of the stick rotation-wise consistently. And I feel bad because he should be out there more, but like he does kind of just do the same thing that Wiggins does and to a degree that Klay does, which is like you don't want him dribbling. You just want him operating off ball and gunning. And they have enough guys who do that in theory if they're all rolling, right? Like whereas Pods brings a completely different skill set to the mix and one that honestly makes a guy like Klay better. We're saying, you know, Pods helps them get back to being the Warriors. Well, look at Klay's last 3 games. I tweet brought by Anthony Slater, but like we all saw it. Pod's been in the lineup 3 times. Klay's last 3 games, 30 points efficiently, 24 points, a little more of a volume night, 28 points really efficiently. Over the last 3 games, he's averaging 26 to 27 points per game on the level of efficiency we associate him with over his career, you know? So it's just kind of like, yeah, dude, you put players around Hall of Famers that plays to their skill set, you're probably going to get better performance out of them. And, you know, Steve said it earlier in the season, but like this team's ceiling is more likely going to be defined by getting guys like Klay and Wiggins playing up to their capabilities than anything else. So I can't say I saw it coming with Pods this way. And I can't say this is all like Pods is doing. Like we just inserted like, you know, Luka Doncic or something into the team, but it is finding the right type combination. So Steve loves to say it's like, oh, we got to find the right combination. So well, you found one.
For the way that the Warriors want to play, it truly is perfect because I can't imagine him on another team making this type of impact just because nobody really plays like the Warriors so much. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be good in another team, just that on this team it's so perfect, and which is what makes Mike Dunleavy's first selection as the GM so like impactful when you talk about what he's done differently than Bob Myers. Is like I can't imagine Bob Myers ever drafting Podziemski. Anyway, thinking for another time. But he was, I mean, I don't know if he was a story tonight because Sam, those 2 guys that have been not so great all year, especially Wiggins, yeah, they bailed this team out tonight. I mean, they bailed. It's about time.
And Wiggins, I want to ask you, do you think coming off the bench is actually benefiting him a little bit here? Because I thought he played well last night, or I guess 2 nights ago, and most people are listening to this, against Brooklyn. Not as, you know, good offensively, but in general, he kind of started to assert himself more than tonight. I mean, he had one of his best games this season. And he looked kind of like the dude he'd been during the 2022 title run, where he, you know, he played with force. He got downhill. He hit open jumpers. I really think hitting jumpers is the key for him. And they rebounded the ball well too. And just, you felt his impact in multiple facets of the game.
Yeah. I can't tell. I think part of what coming off the bench does for him though is, I do think it's less pressure. So maybe that is helping him, that part. I don't know if it's lineup combination or anything like that. He still is kind of taking about the same shots. He played in crunch time, made a big 3. But, Sam, I think there's just less pressure in the middle of the game or the start of the game for him to just come out there and do something at the beginning, which is what this whole team was struggling this whole season is. I think there's just he can kind of hide a little bit where, you know, the games already happening. It's 18-12, right? And then he comes in and there's just less need for him to do something. I think maybe that's helping him mentally because, I don't know, you and I have sat here for, I don't know, 2 months, however long the season has been, and we could never figure out what's wrong with him. And
feels
maybe
like
it's
much
mental.
longer than that.
Yeah, maybe it's mental, and maybe him coming off the bench with less pressure has made it easier for him to play basketball. I want to say that's the case, but I know some people in the comments there are saying maybe his finger is healthier or stuff like that. I don't know, but he definitely looks better. I mean, he's even getting to the hole tonight. He had multiple times where he had layups at the rim, which I don't know when was the last time we saw that. And obviously he's making his threes. Like there was one specific play that I'm thinking he went in to try and draw the foul. And that's just not something that Wiggins has done all season because, I mean, one, he doesn't want to shoot free throws, and two, he's been so scared of just doing anything. And tonight he earned the crunch time closing minutes, right? So I can't imagine if he plays like this, he's going to be in the starting lineup sooner than later. But
that's the interesting thing because, yeah, like conventional wisdom would say he puts 2 to 3 of these games together, Steve's going to put him back in the starting lineup. But part of me is going, if he's rolling like this, like, go with it until the starters don't work. And the starters currently are working. You know what I'm saying? Like, why mess with something that's not working right now? But we'll see where they get with there. Yeah. One thing that is clear is he's played better since this change was made. Same way Klay played better after getting benched in the Phoenix game. And, you know, that's kind of what you want to see, you know? They got a lot of rope the first 20-plus games of the season, and they both played really bad basketball for the vast majority of it. If this is what needs to be done to get them going, then so be it, you know? I'd rather Andrew Wiggins come off the bench and play like this than give him a ceremonial start and deal with it going up and down, right? Like, yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. I actually think Kuminga played really well, and Steve always leans vets. I don't think Kuminga did anything wrong. I just think Wiggins, quote unquote, played better than him. And he just kind of rode the veteran player. But in the first part of the game when they got a big lead, Kuminga played pretty well. And he's kind of played pretty well since he's been given this role off the bat.
Yeah. I know I want to take that bait, but I think one concerning thing to me about him is, and maybe this is because GP2's out and Draymond's out, but man, his point of attack defense can be pretty rough. I think right now he might even be better as like a long wing guy. I don't think he can guard any guards. They're just going right by him. Jeremy Grant went right by him a couple times. Maybe I think he can become a great elite off-ball help defender. But yeah, so I know he played well tonight. Made a couple threes. I thought his decision making was really nice. He didn't like really force anything when he was pushing the ball up, but that defense is kind of concerning for a guy that I think could be elite defensively. But sometimes guys look like they could be elite because he's so big and strong and fast. But man, I don't know if he is. Like Podziemski's a much better defender. And
Podziemski's their best. Yeah. Podziemski's their best point of attack defender. Take that what you will, but like he actually understands how to guard the ball and navigate a screen. So he's got that going for him. I do think part of Kuminga's issue defensively is this entire team's issue defensively, which is not having a defensive anchor. It's rough with Looney right now. He's having a rough season. He looks worn down. He looks the slow as I've ever seen him look. That hasn't worked. Obviously, Draymond, who's their best defender, is out right now. And, you know, so that brings us to Trayce Jackson-Davis, which Steve went to him for a rookie. I thought he played excellent against Portland. And honestly, he needs to be in the rotation way more than he is right now. That's my big takeaway from tonight. Like, as long as Draymond's out, Trayce Jackson-Davis needs to be putting up. He had 18 minutes tonight, 14 and 8, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. You watch the game, his activity, he was just always around the ball and doing positive things on that end. And they don't have many options. He's got to play more. Yeah, pretty easy decision. I think Warriors fans on Twitter, I think, have been correct mostly all season. I think we've been correct mostly all season about this. Moses Moody certainly should have played more. He should have never been out the rotation.
Kuminga should have played more. He never should have been around the rotation. And Trace Jackson Davis was pretty obvious from the beginning of the season that he should have been played more than he did. And tonight, I thought, Looney was bad and Sarge was bad. I think Sarge and to Steve's point, got benched. Sarge didn't play at the end. And Looney played in crunch time. I think Steve wanted the vet in and wanted some screen presence and a little bit of defense. But I think it's pretty obvious that they are going to need people other than the veterans to play when those guys have been bad all year. And I think Steve has held on as long as he can with Looney. But I would just not play Looney for a couple games. Now, I don't know if he was that bad tonight, but I think you can make an argument that Trace Jackson Davis can just play and start and play all the minutes with Sarge coming in as the backup 5, which is what they kind of done, and roll with that. But I doubt they do that. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he just didn't play at all next game.
Like, the only problem with that is, like, do they have enough bodies to not play Looney? You know what I mean?
Well, like, I'm saying, like, maybe you plan to not play him, and then if you need to, maybe foul trouble.
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sure. I definitely agree with the sentiment. It feels like Looney needs a week off just to, like, recharge the batteries and get a little more energy back, because more than anything, he just looks tired. You know, like, Looney's got his limitations. We all know who he is as a player, but he's better than what he's doing right now. With all that said, like, Trace Jackson Davis just needs to play more. Even if we're looking at this in context of they're not going to want to be playing a rookie in the playoffs, that sort of thing. One, debatable if you're going to make the playoffs. Two, like, just you need to stack wins, and he'll probably has a better chance helping you win games than some of the players and combinations you're using right now. And you just, like, lean into it, like you said, like, stop. Go with what's working, go with, like, the hot hand a little more, and, put yourself in position to make Dunleavy have to be a buyer at the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? Like you make the decision very easy if you're 10 games under 500, what to do at the trade deadline. You push yourself into, 2 games out of the 6th seed and sneakily figuring it out as guys get healthy and blah, blah, blah. Different sentiment. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Like, all these little things matter. They get above 500. They start forcing their way in there. Things can snowball. We saw it with the Lakers last year. The Lakers were much worse than the Warriors at this point last year. Played themselves kind of back to decency, made the right deadline acquisitions, and obviously that worked for them.
They didn't even make huge, like, deadline. Like, they didn't even make huge ones, right? Like, their deadline acquisition
they got rid of a point guard who didn't fit.
Exactly. And people were making pieces that made sense. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt, who hasn't played much this season, but he was important last year.
He was good.
Exactly.
For them. Yeah.
Hachimura got hot in the playoffs, and they re-signed him. So, I mean, look, a lot of people are making fun of the Warriors and calling Chris Paul the Russ. I don't think it's that. I think Russ was actually unhappy, not very good, and just a bad fit. I think Chris Paul definitely a bad fit, but, like, he seems happy, and he hit the game. I mean, hell, he hit the game clinching shot tonight to put them up 4. Right. When Steph had turned the ball over a couple times in crunch time. So I think there's a fit for Chris Paul here. I just think that, I mean, if they can convert that contract, there's a little bit of hopium in what you're saying too, but I'm with you. I'm right there with you. If they can.
Look, man, we're a third of the way through the season, 26 games.
Whew.
And they don't have their draft pick. So it's like, let's just be honest, like, start playing it forward, play earnestly as if you care to compete, and let's see where we're at in a month. Let's see where we're at in 2 weeks. Let's see where we're at in a month. Like, keep it moving forward. Obviously, the season did not start the way we'd hoped it would. That is what it is. Well, what you gonna do? Like, tank so you can give Portland the 5th pick in the draft? Like,
bad draft. Maybe that's okay. Hey, I got a Portland take for you. Which is 6-19. That don't really make sense because I mean, I enjoy watching him play.
Did your Portland take that Pods is better than Scoot?
Scoot surely wasn't. He was not impressive tonight. He does some good things, but not impressive. No, Deandre Ayton is a joke. What is he doing out there on the basketball court? I mean, the Warriors have no size. They're not. The Warriors aren't playing amazing basketball. This isn't peak time Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And Deandre Ayton, I didn't even notice he was on the floor outside of the initial 15-foot shot that he made. My goodness, Sam, what a waste of talent. I don't know, size, skill. He does have some skill. It's embarrassing what he's doing out there.
Because we've seen him do it. Like when they went to the NBA Finals during that fake bubble year, he played good basketball. He's clearly a capable, talented player. Just, I don't know. Do you think he cares? No, I think I like, you know, the funniest thing is I thought, like, what are the Suns doing trading him for Nurkic? Surely they can do better than that. And 2 months later, I'm like, man, I don't know that they could do better than that. I think they got a guy who, like, is willing to be a goon and do what they want with, like, because they don't need a dude who wants to, like, get his own shot. They need a guy who's willing to, like, rebound and do dirty work, right?
TJD.
Yeah, Draymond, like all Looney, all these sort of dudes. And you know, I thought they could have done better, but like the farther I get away from it, I'm like, man, one, I don't know they could have done better. Two, like, kind of worked out for them. That's kind of as good as you're gonna do in this situation.
Insane.
So, yeah.
Insane. Tough, I think, if you're a Portland fan. But anyway,
not my kind of player. No.
Yeah, no. I don't think that he's anybody's type of player, honestly. But we'll get to the more of the fun stuff in a second. But before we get there, today's Light Years podcast is brought to you by Sleeper Daily Fantasy. Are you using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy basketball? Because I am. Yes, sir. Tonight, if you're taking Kevin Durant to hit their overs. If you're taking Steph to hit their unders on points, rebounds, assists, you would have won that bet. So if you think you know basketball, then try to turn your basketball knowledge into real money. The Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, so you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states, so check out Sleeper today. All right, we are brought to you by Under Armour. Steph Curry makes you believe you can do anything, and the Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce, grip, and stability to allow for everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite player and rep his shoes on and off the court. The Curry 11s are perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet. Locked in no matter what you do on the court, stopping your tracks with dual density UA flow, cushioning traction, and emergency brake you don't even notice. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage and rep UA wherever you go. Do your thing. Change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curry is available now at currybrand.com.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tonight's the night for Curry Brand, indeed. Oh, all right. Let's go. What do we got here? What's on the screen?
So, obviously, Draymond is out indefinitely. We've heard what everyone said. We talked about it on the last pod. You know, good for them to get 2 wins out of context here. And we've been hearing rumors that they could trade him. They could do stuff. And I don't know how much I buy that, but we have official odds from Bovada on if Draymond Green gets traded, where he will go to. And so Dallas is the favorite. Not surprising because most rumors suggested they were the team who was most likely to sign him in the offseason and the team who was, bidding up the Warriors on his contract. The Lakers, I don't need to explain the Laker-Draymond connection. Cleveland, Indiana, and Sacramento tied for third at plus 500. Detroit needs to just nuke their whole team. That's a different conversation. Philly and San Antonio. I'm going to ignore the last 3. I guess I want to start here. One, do you buy that the Warriors are going to trade Draymond Green or would trade Draymond Green?
I do. I do. I know you're going to disagree. So thanks for asking me first. I do. I think if Bob Myers was the GM, perhaps not. I think if he didn't get suspended twice this season, perhaps not. I think if Draymond is going to come back, look, if Draymond comes back and he punches another dude, he's gone for a season. And I think there's a chance that the Warriors
they're not trading him. He just suspended for a year.
Yeah, he's going to be gone for a year, and I think there's a chance that the Warriors don't want to risk that. I sure it's low. I'm sure it's like 1%, maybe even lower, Sam. But I think there's a chance that come the trade deadline, if something happens that makes them consider it. I think it's possible. You're going to disagree though, huh?
Honestly, not that much. I think it's actually a possibility. I just don't think it'll happen. It's more of a. I think they're gonna look at the offers they get and be like, we don't want Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dwight Powell. You know, like I think it's gonna be more of a. I just don't think they're gonna get there. I think teams are gonna throw BS offers at them in the short term. Like what do you want on Dallas? You want Luka,
the guy that they won't trade.
Yeah. And then you want Derek Lively.
Sure.
And even then it's like, I don't know if I want another 19-year-old, but at least he's good and there's something there. But I don't even think they'd make him available. So
Dallas wouldn't do that. No chance in hell.
So my whole thought here is it's not that I don't think the Warriors have finally hit a point where like they would do it if the right offer comes. I just don't believe the right offer will be there. And I don't even want to, like that's just kind of where exactly. Chat's like Dre for Wemby, like, yeah, sure. I'm sure if the Spurs put Wemby on the table, they'd do it, but that's not happening. So
yeah.
I think of all these teams, the one that's most interesting is Cleveland. I don't even know if it's a real possibility.
Why is that?
Because Cleveland has multiple good players who don't fit together. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are both centers, even though Evan Mobley is probably about to be gone for the next 4 weeks plus, right? Do you agree with me? At some point, they have to make a decision there. Like, you can't just keep both of them. Like, you kind of need a guy who's a different type of player next to him, or a wing or something like that. Maybe not, but that's where I'm at with it.
Cleveland's a mess. They are certainly a team that I mean, you've got it right. I mean, I think you're insinuating that that's a team that's about ready to not blow it up, but make some type of change. It's a shit show over there.
The fit's awkward. Like they have a bunch of good players, but Evan Mobley's a center, no matter what they want to say, right? And Jared Allen's a center, right? Like in theory, couldn't you trade one of them in some sort of package for Draymond Green? Like, doesn't that kind of make sense?
What's Jared Allen doing for the Warriors? What's he doing for the Warriors?
Anchoring a defense. I mean, honestly, we have to go back to Andrew Bogut.
Yeah.
The last time they've had a 7-footer who knew how to play basketball. They've had 7-footers since Bogut, but none of them know how to play basketball. None of them, and I'm not even saying he's as good as Bogut was defensively, but he's like a plus rim protector, plus rebounder, smart player, could run a pick and roll with Steph. They'd play more of a traditional 4-out with him. Yeah. But now that you have Pods, who can be that secondary ball handler, you can't tell me Steph, Pods, Klay, put one of Wiggins there, and then Jared Allen at the 5 being more of a traditional big doesn't make some sense. How good is it is a fair question to ask, but I think basketball wise, it makes sense.
I'm with you. Okay, you've convinced me. Yeah, it raises their floor. I don't think it moves their ceiling at all.
Sure.
I think Draymond's on this team,
and that's where you go with the Chris Paul Kuminga for Siakam trade. Now you got Siakam and Jared Allen.
Oh, you're doing a double dip. You're getting both done. Wow.
If we're living in a fantasy land, I might as well go all the way, right?
Yeah. I mean, now we're cooking. Now you're talking about actually raising the ceiling of a team where you have Steph, Klay with the Siakam, Jared Allen, and Wiggins. Now the spacing's all screwy there, but just in terms of size and athleticism and just being a team that I think you can't be bullied. Because I think the Warriors have been bullied so much of the season. Yeah, man, I think those would be big, Sam. But of course, I mean, dreaming. But back to this Draymond part. So you're thinking Cleveland's the one that makes sense. We know that Dallas loves him and has been trying to put someone next to Luka that can play some defense and Kyrie hilariously. But I mean, Dallas to me has been that surprising. Nobody's talking about them. I feel like Luka should be the MVP, sort of, but nobody's talking about that just because I don't know, they're kind of a fake team, but. I mean, there's some other teams on here. Sacramento would be kind of funny because Sacramento fans hate Draymond, but I mean, he'd be kind of a good fit for them.
I'm trying to think about who has stuff that the Warriors would want. Like the Lakers have nothing because they're not giving.
That one makes no sense. Yeah, that makes no sense.
And what do the Kings have for you? They're not trading De'Aaron Fox. They're not giving you Keegan Murray. You really want to trade Draymond for Harrison Barnes? Come on, man.
Is Indiana doing it for Miles Turner, or they want Draymond next to Miles Turner?
Exactly. I'm just looking at Cleveland as being the only one that there's potential for both parties to come away with it with what they want. Yeah. I don't know. This is why I keep going back to. It's not that I don't believe the Warriors would do it. It's that I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You want to get to the goons?
I'm with you. Yeah, let's get to the goons. Before we get to the goons, everyone's favorite Light Years podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Santa baby, the season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsors of today's show. Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming, have just launched their 5th generation. Gobble. Yes, sir. Well, no, new one, Sam. New gobble. Have just launched their 5th generation performance package to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of your special snowflake with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and watch your South Pole shine like never before. Get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com and using code LIGHTYEARS for 20% plus free shipping. Mrs. Claus will thank you. Manscaped is a one-stop shop for all your holiday needs. They have the perfect gift, performance package 5.0 Ultra, which includes loads of perfect stocking stuffers. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LIGHTYEARS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off for free shipping at manscaped.com and use code LIGHTYEARS. Say ho, ho, ho to a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped.
Can you read that back one more time?
Say ho, ho, ho with a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped. Use code LIGHTYEARS. Dude, I love them. I love them, and actually, I used them. So I don't think I need to go into a story about how I used them, but I used them, and they are. Manscaped is legit. It is the best.
Video testimonial, live groom on playback.
Hey, Warriors get Jared Allen and Siakam. I will do a live groom on camera. You can.
Bro, the front office might be like, we were gonna make the trade, but when Andy said that, no chance.
Live groom. I'll be like one of those Twitch guys. I always see these clips of these Twitch guys nowadays doing absurd stuff. That's gonna be us when the Warriors make a couple banger trades come trade deadline. All right. To the goons.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
We got a guy Tachyon coming up. Batting leadoff.
Yes, sir.
Been a couple shows since he's been back. Well, that didn't sound good. Oh, there we go. What's up, man?
Oh, man. It's like the 49ers look good. I had to work in LA for an entire week. And Steph Curry just nearly sold this game. It's like, this is the most awful time of my life right now. Happy holidays.
We were planning to ignore the Steph losing his streak thing because they won. So, but yes, facts are facts. It did happen like that.
But I think everyone wants to have TJD in the lineup, and I think the simplest solution is to do the Zaza treatment with Looney, and just like, you know what, you play like your good old 5 minutes per in the first quarter and the third quarter, and then for the rest of the game you just don't play it entirely. But I think it's going to be a lot harder, especially when we have to consider Draymond's minutes, because when he plays, he's been relatively good. So if we're going to have to play him a lot more, it means that one of Moody, Kuminga, or Trace Jackson Davis is going to get some minutes crunched, and we're all going to hate it. So I'm just curious, like, who would you like to see a little bit less minutes, or do we just want to see less Draymond minutes entirely? Just have him benched, like a coming full circle moment from 2014-2015 season. So, it's something to consider.
My thought is, and by the way, Tasha, I appreciate you. It's too early to make the decision about what the rotation should look like when Draymond comes back. Just play Trace more right now. Let's see what it looks like, and then when Draymond is ready to come back in 8 games, 10 games, 6 games, whatever it is, then we can have a more thorough conversation about who needs their minutes cut, right? So
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if Draymond and him are coming back, to answer it, probably Loon and Chris Paul, right? I think are the obvious ones. So.
Sure. All right, let's get. Oh, been a minute since we've had this guy, the pastor.
Oh, there we go. Or not. Or yes.
Yeah. Yo. What's up?
Yeah, perfecto.
What's up, McWalters?
Hey. Long time. But man, it was good to see him win a couple games lately. Oh my lord, these guys. But hey, this should be a developmental time right now, right? We're getting Kuminga some minutes. We're getting Moody more minutes. Trace Jackson Davis actually looked very serviceable today. Obviously, it was against a shit team in Portland, but what can you do about that? But play him, Steve. God damn it, play him. Why not? What are we learning playing Chris Paul 32 minutes? We're not learning anything. Play pods. We play pods. Great. We learned something. Awesome. And you can still have Paul be very effective in 25 minutes, 32 minutes. It's like, can we spread that around? Why does Moody have to play 20 minutes? Why can't he play 25? Like some of Paul's minutes can go around, and just you look at the team now, and it's just, they're just so small. They're just so small. Even our bench with that 5 is so small. It's 3 guards no matter what, and it's even when you get GP back, it's
yeah. At least he plays big. At least there's that. At least
absolutely. But our 4s, when we're playing a Wiggins or a Kuminga at 4, we're not playing. They're playing up for their size, but like we're getting killed, and it's everything everyone that's talked about for the last 3 or 4 years about us being too small is like finally coming to roost. And this whole Dre thing just has to have you worried that his contract hasn't even kicked in yet. We have 4 years of this. When you threw San Antonio up there, I'm like, how many picks would we have to attach to Draymond for them to even consider taking him off our roster? And he would be good there because they're playing SoScan at that weird point forward. Drake could do that in his sleep and be miles better than anything they have. And
that was a tanking proposition that they did out there.
Well, it could still be it. It could still be it with Dre there.
Yeah, fair. He could get suspended the rest of the season.
Yeah, seriously, and then they get picks out of it, like win-win. But I don't see a move happen where anyone would take him on. Will the league even let him back in? Like it's
yeah,
crazy.
I hadn't thought about that. I guess if a team is going to want to trade for Draymond, he is really on the hook for missing. He's gonna get suspended for the rest of the season if he does something else crazy. Which I think if you're a contending team, that is not a risk worth taking. It's a good point. We probably should have said that, because what team is going to say, yeah, we're trained for this guy, and then literally a week later, he's kicking
You have to
someone in
be
the
a
balls. He's
desperate
gone.
franchise, and there's one I can think of that has a lot that would love a personality like Draymond, and it is the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks would love him. He would be the man. He would bring toughness that they don't really have. I mean, if you were a Knicks fan, you'd give us Randall. We don't want Randall, but like that would be the trade, right? Like you take our garbage for your garbage, and they would love him like no other there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Then just throwback. Start talking about how he's a new Charles Oakley,
That's right,
Anthony
Oakley
Mason.
Mason. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They would love him. Like he could do no wrong. He punches someone. They're like, "Yeah, we're tough. You tough New Yorker." Like they would be.
League's,
That's the
league's
only
soft now.
franchise.
League's soft now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the only franchise. Or Miami. Like Miami could
No.
just be like culture, culture, culture. And like we don't care. Bring him in.
I'd
But
be afraid of him going to Miami. They work they work voodoo on guys. They'd get Klay back to pre-ACL tear days or something.
Well, they'd probably actually hold him accountable for the bullshit
Correct.
that he does. That's
Correct.
really what it is.
I mean, that's the thing we haven't really talked about in this. It seems like they're finally trying to hold them accountable. Yeah. We'll see if it's successful. Honestly, it might be too far gone, given the relationship and how long it's gone on. But just looking at everything, it's like you can't say what you've been doing with Draymond's been working. Might as well try a different angle, right?
I mean, it's like someone trying to recover from a narcissist, right? Like you're not going to do it. You just have to go straight no contact. So like you can't really do anything about that, right?
Well,
and like unless the team goes straight no contact, right? Which is trade, right? You trade them away, then
Right.
like what can you do, right?
Sure.
But that's not reality either for sports. So
I wonder if there is a like he feels his mortality, and this is different. It's basketball mortality. I think there is part of this is Draymond. You got to realize that, hey, bud, you're this close to being finished. You might want to figure something out there. I think he's kind of been as the people say, running around like he's Pac in the NBA for the last couple years, and I think at some point, and we've gotten to that point. It's like, dude, you might be cooked and forever. And what choice does he have but to figure it out? What choice does he have?
Well, I don't know because he might not be rational.
Speak for yourself, guys. Speak for yourself, guys. I am not at that. Right? I am not at that point just yet.
I mean, you the three of us are all being very rational about this. But if you're Draymond, you've lived with this irrational level of confidence for your entire. That's how you made it, right? Like you don't believe in me. I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna fight for everything. Like I in some ways I kind of get how he like fights against trying to change because that's the only way he made it, right? Like,
but I think not this way though. Not like this. There's a certain level of right now he is completely out of control, more so than ever before, and there's a little not a little bit. There's a lot of it of you just simply cannot. There's no other way to say it. You can't do any of this, right? I feel like they could explain it a little bit away back then. Not now. I don't know. You could argue maybe that. Yeah.
Do you feel like the TNT thing like blew his head up, like the pod, and it just blew like I can't do any wrong. I need to be more Draymond, and now he's like for the last 3 years just gone nutso on us, and like that just like became some cesspool for him.
I think it's simpler. I think he's dealing with a level of decline, and he just thinks he can like tough his way beyond it, whereas the league is just kind of like, no, dude, you can't just like bully people all the time. So I don't know. He's still a good player, but it does feel like he's paying for being a step slow more than anything in most of these things, and that makes it like it's complicated because the Gobert thing was literally just him being. Like I just wanted to go at Rudy because I don't like him, But all the other ones, it's like the Donovan Mitchell, the Sabonis, the Nurkic. Those are all like, oh, you're just a little old. You're a little older than you used to be. You're a little slower than you used to be to me.
This kind of reminds me of the end of Bill Laimbeer, right? Laimbeer just kind of ran his course as a goon, and then he was just done. He was just straight done, right? Like the Pistons kind of fell apart, and then everyone realized it wasn't Laimbeer that made him tough. It was like, Dumars and Rodman and Isaiah, and that Laimbeer was just a punk, like and then
He can
All
still
right.
play though, Draymond can
That's
still
the
play.
thing.
Anyway, that's the thing. So
Nick
anyway,
Walters, appreciate you, my
thanks,
man.
brother.
We'll keep
Absolutely.
moving. Yeah.
Good call. Good stuff. Good to hear from McWalter. I know not the usual cherry version, but
Well, the season is what it is.
nothing to be happy about right now.
They won 2 in a row, and I'll take what I can
Very
get,
good.
and hopefully they build upon it a little bit. But
Tuesday night they beat the Celtics.
it hasn't been a hot season to date.
Yeah, we might be cooking though. I think you and I are gonna do some live grooming on Tuesday if they win. All right,
We got a new caller, Gifted Hoops, my man. How you doing?
sure.
It's 12:21 in Detroit, but at least we didn't lose off of a and one from Shaden Sharp. Great game-winning charge from a rookie player. I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
I can't complain.
All right, what do you got for us?
I really feel like with Draymond and GP not in the game right now, obviously for two completely different reasons, I feel like Trace Jackson has to play basketball minutes. I'm not even asking for 25 or 30 minutes. I'm asking, can you just give him consistent bursts of minutes? Like, it makes no sense to me that his first tick came from playing for the, Suns game at the end of the game with Chris Paul first, and then he doesn't play the next game. And then now it's like, okay, he's back in the game. Now this game should be enough to show that the rebounding and the athleticism on the floor is what's going to help Golden State close out games, even when they troll for many quarters, especially when it's 6 minutes to go in the third quarter on. It feels like every lead there dies because they lack athleticism. You have Dario Saric at the 5 with Wiggins at the 4 and these 3-guard lineups. You have to have some type of defensive presence because every time they hunt Dario over and over, and there's no one athletic to really help him. So I'm just praying that Trace at least gets consistent minutes because even in the third quarter in this game, he barely played him despite his strong first half.
No, I agree with you. I mean, they don't have depth, and he provides skill sets the players they do have don't have. Like, just putting it bluntly, like, none of their bigs are particularly athletic. None of them are able to finish at the rim. Yeah, Dario spaces the floor, and that's a useful skill set, but they don't have anyone who you can feasibly say can finish inside. And like the rebound he had just sticks out in my mind where he like literally skied over everyone. Could you imagine any Warrior big doing that? He needs to, and I'm pulling it up right now. They have a so-so home schedule right now. It's, Wizards easy, Portland again, Boston's tough, Denver's tough. Miami is always Miami, but I'm looking at this. They only leave home once between now and January 10th, 11th. It's a good time to get him some consistent runs so you can have a feeling of how much you can count on him. You probably get Draymond back somewhere during this homestand. So commit, to your point, 15 minutes needs to be the minimum. Give him 2 to 3 shots. Bring him in the second quarter, third quarter. And if he's going, ride it. And if not, all right, it's not his night. We'll go a different direction.
That's it. That's really it. I don't think it has to be anything crazy. I don't like to, exaggerate it and say he should play all this and all that. I get how hard it is to, have to cater to your veteran players, but also award production from the younger players. But it feels like this season's all about that.
No, I agree. All right, Gifted. Appreciate you, man. Have a great evening.
It's funny too. It's funny too. The comments are saying said that Kerr basically put Sarge in because or TJD in because Sarge got in foul trouble, which is funny because I doubt TJD plays tonight if Sarge doesn't get in foul trouble. So just another thing that Kerr stumbles onto. We'll see if he gets to it again next game.
Let's see if Sleepy gets to it. I don't know. They're playing Boston. He's about to play Dario 40 minutes at the center spot.
It's nasty. It's nasty. Well, Boston, that's a tough one. I mean,
it is a tough one, but they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, right. It's like you're not.
You're
what
not
are they going
good.
to be? Yeah,
You're
right.
not
What are they
good.
going to be like? Plus 8.5 that game. So it's
You
just
should experiment more, right?
okay. Let's go, Gio.
Yeah. What's up, Gio? Yeah, that's everyone's favorite voice.
What's up, guys? Yes, I know. I do find the whole Drake thing to be a bit absurd, in my opinion. Like I think the whole narrative around it being like this, like raging lunatic to me sounds a bit weird. Like I don't like it's almost seems as though like the front office is like you and Steve Kerr are using as like the scapegoat for their own issues. That they've like that they allow Draymond to be the problem. First, I don't know, like building a better team around him, and maybe he's less around it if that happens. In my opinion. That's my take. And also, yeah, play TAD more. Like he's athletic, like he's young. Like you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose really, but to try stuff. Just try stuff that works or not. Just and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think are we all in agreement on this? Gio, appreciate you. You don't have a title team. You probably can't find a title team in this roster, period, right? It's going to require a trade to get something that is capable of contending that way. So experiment and figure out what you have the whole way through. Because look, either Mike and Kirk pull something off at the deadline or they don't. But anyway you slice it, like you're not going to get yourself back there by just like sticking with the same thing. You're fed up. All right, last.
I agree. It's the same story, right? It's the same story. I think the three guys. It's interesting because if you were to say four guys, so let's take Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, and Trace Jackson Davis. Why is it that Podziemski suddenly gets into the rotation where the other three guys just really don't get any type of chance to get her?
Because he's better than them.
Yes, he is. But is he that much to where he automatically gets to play that much and the other guys have no chance? Right? Does it?
I think he's the second best player on the team right now. Third. I'll give Clay's. Give Clay's. He's been better than
tonight.
Everyone. He's been better than everyone not named Steph and Klay.
Well, but I think the point is that somebody has to either be so good, or if they're a younger guy with just making one or two mistakes, they don't get a chance, right? And it's obviously Steve has been proven wrong. It's obvious,
right?
He's had right.
Okay, I get your point. Like he's had to play at a level that's like hard to like. I didn't see it coming at this level. Like I loved him in the draft, but I didn't think he'd be this good this quick. He literally has to shoot like 42% from three and make better decisions than the veterans on both ends of the floor consistently for like 2 months to earn the minutes, right?
Yeah, and he was behind Corey Joseph to start the season, right? And all of a sudden now, look, we're all sitting here and saying he deserves the minutes, so Steve is right about that. But
you're saying that the bar is so high.
It's so high, right? Because we're watching Moody. Yeah. He makes a mistake, he's gone, and then Steve apologizes to everyone, saying he's wrong. And then seriously, he apologizes, which is hilarious.
That was so funny. That was so.
Thanks, coach. Do your fucking job. And then same thing with Kuminga.
It's like all the celebrities with their like apology video. I take accountability. It's just stop, Steve. Stop.
What are we doing here? And then same with Kuminga, that last Portland game. He's basically out there crying. I think it's pretty obvious that he doesn't know how to coach the team that this team is, because they've got young players mixed with vet players, and it's hard. It's hard. Nobody's saying it's easy. You're not always going to click the right buttons, but he's certainly not he's not clicking the right buttons, and that's obvious. But Podziemski has been playing so well that it doesn't matter. And then to the TJD point it's obvious that he's better than Looney sometimes, and he's better than Sarge sometimes, and he doesn't even get a chance to play. Like we watched him play,
and you don't have like 5 bigs, dude. Like you don't have. Like, you're like trying to piecemeal minutes. So yeah.
So,
Yeah. Let's end on this. I want
right.
to just get your thoughts on this. Make it real quick. Monte was at the Warriors game Saturday night. And it's weird seeing him, but it was actually kind of fun. Now, I wasn't a huge Monte guy as a player, just to be honest, but it did bring a little nostalgia for me, seeing him just kind of like kick it with like Kalena and Steph and all those guys, just bring back the memories and everything. And so I'm going to play this real quick.
Monta, you obviously saw Steph at the very early start of his career when he was baby-faced and skinnier. And people here remember you saying that you guys couldn't play together and whatever. And I'm just curious if you ever thought he would become anything near what he has become. And what do you think of, not just his success in basketball, but he's become sort of almost bigger than basketball in some ways.
I can't predict the future, but the work that he put in, and I try to tell my kids all the time, you're only gonna get out what you put in. So if you get a half effort, you're gonna get half results. So he just put in the time, and it paid off. So I always knew it, as long as he just keep working, that he was gonna be good. Didn't think he was gonna turn out to be like this, but he was definitely gonna be successful. So everything that he got and everything that come his way, he earned it, and can't no one take that from him.
Oh, do you feel it? Were you feeling the feelings I was when we saw Monte again, or were you just grumpy?
No. Monte is one of those guys, I think, growing up as a Warriors fan, and people who listen to our show are all growing up as Warriors fans. I think watching Monte as like that first super exciting guy that was our guy. Look at this video of him reunited. And I don't know if he and Steph really ever got along that well, but didn't he feel like it was our guy?
Yeah.
Right?
I
He
think
was
Steph-
our guy because nobody knew, like nobody cared about Monte because the Warriors were a joke, right? So he really was our. The chat is saying Jason Richardson, same thing, right? Like these guys are just our dudes. Where I don't think in the course of NBA history we'll ever hear about Monta Ellis, but as Warriors fans, you say Monta Ellis, and all of us are just sitting here like, yeah, man, that's a dude that would just be going. That was the fastest dude in the NBA to us, fastest dude in the NBA, right? Mid-range jump shot. And so I don't know. He was the guy that said he was better than Kobe. Or no, he said what would he say? He was just as Kobe, just as good as Kobe. Remember that?
Number 2 to Kobe. He goes 3 best players in the NBA. He goes number 3 LeBron, 2 me, 1 Kobe.
Amazing.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate him having enough humility to be like, all right, Kobe's better.
Kobe's better.
Monte was fun. It's just weird because, like, how much have I really thought about Monta Ellis in the last decade? Well, more than I should admit. But, he's kind of not been someone who's like been top of mind when you think about the Warriors over the last decade for all the obvious reasons. And bringing him back into here and just kind of like reliving those moments with him and Steph, his rookie year when this team was a total joke and an abject failure and all that sort of stuff. And just kind of like seeing, he's almost 40 now. He's in a different phase of his life. He hasn't played in the NBA for a decade. It's cool. And sometimes you just need a little like nostalgia and that feeling because it's a long season.
You need the good vibes. I mean, look at the Giants. They're the masters of like just bringing good vibes when the team isn't good. So it's like sometimes, and as you're showing a video of Steph and Monte dapping each other up, sometimes I think that matters. It's just this sports entertainment, man. I don't know. Like, they may not be great this year, but this is cool. Look at Monte's got a little bigger, we all do, old age, right?
He's been lifting. I give Monte credit. He has not got fat, which would be very easy to do, as you and I know. And he's actually got like, he's not like Mike Bibby, like where I'm like, whoa, bro, relax. But staying in shape.
He's still hooping. I swear I saw a video of him like in running like pickup. He's 38 only. Wow, he's the same age as LeBron. Blows my mind. Wow.
And
Maybe just Chris Paul, actually.
our guy Chris Paul.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, actually. Wow. And honestly, Steph is not that much younger. Not that much younger than him. Steph is 35. Wow. Why did I think Monta was like 45? Blows my mind.
Feels like that long ago. All right, we'll end it here. Appreciate everyone.
See you guys
Have a
soon.
great evening.